Hello, family members. I hope you're having a nice day today. I want to talk to you about something I saw last night on the DNC. And I'm sure that if you know me personally or have been watching my videos for any length of time, you probably have some idea what I like the most. But it was when they had three young women come out. One was Kamala's stepdaughter. One was Kamala's niece, and one was Kamala's goddaughter. And boy, it was like that moment was like made for me because goddaughters and godmothers, we just don't get our due, you know? Like a lot of people don't do the godparent thing. I never really knew anyone that did, but my friend that bestowed me with the gift of my goddaughter. She was raised Catholic, and I guess that was something that was part of her tradition. And I'm so glad it is because I love that child so much. I mean, if I had birthed her, I wouldn't love her more. Like she is my baby, and I have her every summer. Sending her back is like the most hard, like the hardest thing in the world. Like, I know her parents need her back. They miss their baby. Her little sister needs her. She's got to go to school. But I'm just like, I don't want the summer to be over. I want my baby back. And people, I think, just don't acknowledge that those types of relationships exist. When J.D. Vance is attacking childless cat ladies, he's not just attacking women who don't have children. He's attacking the relationships that every woman has with women in her life that are not her mother, that are so formative, that are so important. And there's so many kinds of ways to be an important woman in the life of a young child growing up. And, there's the godparent, godchild relationship. There's the step-parent, stepchild relationship. There's the auntie relationship. And believe me, from what I've seen, it seems like Kamala was pretty involved in raising her niece. She was very much present in that. And so there's something about being a primary caregiver for a child that relationship is deep. I have a lot of kids in my life. I have, cousins who have kids. I have my biological nieces and nephews. I have my second brother and his kids. I have my friends and family, or friends rather, that have children. Like, I've got a lot of kids in my life, despite the fact that I've never physically birthed a child, okay? And I can tell you 100% that there's just something different when you have a relationship with a child where you've changed their diapers, or you held them when they cried, or took care of them when they're sick, or comforted them when they're sad, had to punish them when they were doing something they shouldn't have been doing. All those things, taking care of a child, when you're an adult and you do that, and the fun stuff too, playing with them, going places with them, doing things with them, going swimming, going to the water park, whatever, right? Like, you create a bond. There's a deep bond there, and you don't need blood at all for that bond to be important, to be valid. Like, I just feel like this isn't something that gets talked about enough. I don't think that the importance of other adults in children's life is considered all that often. You know, I mean, like teachers and coaches. You know, I right off the bat, when I think of teachers, I think of two teachers. One of my music teachers, my first music teacher, my first choir teacher. She's actually my Facebook friend on Facebook. Duh, but it's so cute. Like I love that. And she's like, she always called us her honey bunnies, and she still does that. It's so cute. I love it. I mean, it's just adorable. But like the other teacher that I think about is my like gifted teacher from middle school, who when I had cancer, she sent me this like beautiful handcrafted hat that she had actually made for a very dear friend of hers who had cancer but had passed away before she finished the hat. Like that, I mean, like receiving that gift just like kind of took my breath away. It was so meaningful. And, you know, in those times of stress, that kind of stuff just like really touches your heart, you know? And it wasn't just with me that she was an extraordinary teacher. I mean, she's literally, if you ever watch CBS News, their Washington correspondent, Weijia Yang, she had the same teacher. You know, like she was actually one of the teachers I think that Weijia credit as being someone who like helped her get to where she is, famously. Like, so yeah, she's good. But like, it's just we really do kind of not talk about that enough. Not talk about how people who don't have biological children do have investments in the next generation and generations to come. You know, we don't even really acknowledge that. It's important. It's important to normalize those types of relationships, because the more love and support a child has, the better. You know, the more ways that they can see life lived and be able to make informed choices about how they want to live their life, the better. I cannot tell you how happy I was when that girl said she was Kamala's goddaughter. It just it touched my heart, because I often feel like, you know, people would see my investment in my goddaughter as a frivolous thing and trivial. And it's nice to see someone else modeled in the world who doesn't trivialize it. Sorry about Soxies. That is not what we do to cameras, young man. Oh, and then of course Casey. Casey is underneath the... It's turning into chaos, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see if we can get a little calmed down here. No? Oh, okay. Come here, Soxy. Just stay with me. Don't wiggle, okay? All right, I will cuddle you. He likes to be snatched up in a bear trap because he's Soxy Bear. Anyway, so I just, and the thing is, it's true for male children too, of course. You know, we don't really celebrate or acknowledge the importance of male role models in children's lives. And I think that that's because we have this disproportionate, like, stranger danger kind of fear, you know? But the thing is, you have to build a community of people around you that you trust. And once you do that, you should be able to find people who you can trust to be mentors to your child. And once you find those mentors, you know, they're not necessarily going to agree with you on everything about what is best for your child, but they should be able to defer. And that's one thing that I think it's really good for me to have this relationship too, because it teaches me how to invest in her, but in a way that is respectful of the fact that her parents are the ones who have the greatest responsibility for her and the ultimate authority for her. And so you kind of learn how to kind of compromise in a way that satisfies both your commitment to her parents and also to her. And I think that that kind of compromise, that kind of balancing act where you have two people with not entirely aligned interests all of the time, but mostly aligned interests. And when there's conflict, you have to know how to navigate that, but be respectful of the boundaries that exist. And I think that that kind of skill is something that is a useful thing to have. And so I imagine that Kamala has that. I think that's probably true of stepmothers as well. You know, being involved in her stepchildren's lives and having a relationship with them while also having that understanding that, they have that relationship with their mom is important too. It's not a replacement. It's a yes and, you know? And I imagine that that's probably similar with her niece because she got to be around a lot when she was growing up. And so that, I think, speaks to hopefully some diplomatic prowess that this particular candidate may, have. Um, but I like to see it. I like to see it represented in a big public way like that. Different types of ways to have a family. And it's kind of funny because for all J.D. Vance being dismissive of people like me, he put a spotlight on us in a way and gave us an opportunity to push back. And it kind of reminds me of that ContraPoints video about Anita Bryant, and she talks about how a movement can't get along without a devil. And Anita Bryant became the devil for the gay community and helped spur people to take political action. And I wonder in a way if J.D. Vance talking about childless cat ladies isn't going to help push forward the fight to acknowledge that family is more than just mom, dad, kids, that it's a whole web, it's a whole network. We used to say it takes a village to raise a child, but the Republican Party wants each family to be its own little unit living out in the woods or something, homeschooling their children and only ever, socializing in church or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's have more visibility for non-traditional types of families and familial relationships. I will tell you 100%. My goddaughter calls every member of my family like they're her biological family. In fact, she calls off my cousin's aunt and uncle, which I just think is so cute. She calls my brother and my sister-in-law aunt and uncle. She calls my parents grandparents. We are family to her. You could not tell her otherwise. She didn't want to hear about blood. We are just family, and that's it, period. And that, I think, says volumes right there. There's no commitment that my family ever made to that child. But she's important to me, and they welcomed her in. Everybody in my family knows who Gacy is. Everybody in my family has known who Gacy is, always, basically, So, yeah, she is a part of our family. And that is not a unique relationship. There are people who have very close. My sister-in-law has a very close relationship with her godmother and her godmother's whole family. You know, I mean, like it's it's there. It's just not something that gets acknowledged or talked about or seen as important by certain kinds of people. People who believe in a tradition that was honestly just a fantasy created in the 50s. And that weird shiny plastic conservative utopia that people think they want never existed anywhere. It was, marketing, so like maybe they should get over that. I don't know. Probably won't. All right, family members, I probably babbled about this too much, but I mean, it's important to me. Like, one of the most important relationships in my life is my goddaughter, because she comes and she spends 3 months every year with me, and when she's not here, we video chat and send messages, and I I sing her lullabies at night sometimes if she wants. Like, she'll video chat me. Like, that relationship isn't nothing, JD Vance. I'm sorry, you jerk. Thank you, Kamala, for, like, actually showing people that people like me exist. So, let's hope for more non-traditional family representation throughout this campaign season, but also just in society in general, because it really does take a village. You can't just raise a kid by yourself. Like, you need people. And that's good. That's the way it's meant to be. That's why humans have, like, evolved. So let's, like, lean into it, I think. So, love you, family members. Bye.